In the heart of the Igbo village of Umofia, nestled between lush green hills and a shimmering river, there lived a young girl named Chinya. Often at a tender age, Chinya had been sent to live with her uncle's family after her parents perished in a tragic accident. Her new home was a modest compound, surrounded by a high, clay wall, its entrance marked by a weathered wooden door that creaked ominously whenever it opened. Her uncle, Obieka, was a man of few words and fewer smiles. His family, while ostensibly welcoming, had an icy edge that cut deeper than any blade. Chinya was subjected to the harshest treatment imaginable, her days marked by unending chores and nights filled with the cold glare of her cousins, who viewed her presence as a burden rather than a blessing. Her room was a small, dark corner of the compound, devoid of warmth or light, save for the fleeting rays that slipped through a tiny window. The family's disregard for her was almost ceremonial. Her meals consisted of the scraps left after the family had dined, and her chores, fetching water from the river, tending to the chickens, and scrubbing pots, were unrelenting. In the evenings, she would sit alone by the fire, where the warmth of the flames did little to chase away the chill of loneliness that clung to her. Despite her circumstances, Chinya possessed an indomitable spirit. Her solace came from the ancient stories her grandmother used to tell her, tales of gods and heroes that she would recite in her head as she walked. She found a semblance of freedom in these stories, letting them transport her to faraway lands where injustice was met with justice, and the oppressed triumphed over their tormentors. One fateful day, the village elders announced that a grand festival would be held to honor the gods. The festival, known as the Ofola, was a time of celebration and reverence, where people came together to honor their ancestors and seek their blessings. It was during this festival that Chinya saw a glimmer of hope. She had heard that the goddess of the river, Idemalai, was known to favor the pure-hearted and the wronged, and she prayed fervently to her for deliverance. As the festival commenced, the village was abuzz with preparations and joyous celebrations. Chinya watched from the sidelines, her heart heavy with longing. Her uncle's family, in their eagerness to partake in the festivities, left her behind, and it was then that she made a daring decision. Stepping out of the shadows, she approached the river where Idemalai was said to dwell. With trembling hands, she offered a simple prayer, her voice barely a whisper against the roar of the river. She pleaded for justice and a change in her fate. As she finished her prayer, she felt an inexplicable calm wash over her. Later that night, as the festival reached its zenith, a dramatic turn of events unfolded. The village's sacred drum, which had been missing for days, was found at the river's edge, drenched but intact. The elders, astonished by this miracle, interpreted it as a sign from Idemalai herself. They decreed that whoever had been wronged was to be restored to their rightful place. The next morning, Chinya was summoned to the village square. The elders, having heard her story and witnessed the miracle, declared that she would be given a new home and a position of honor within the community. Her uncle's family, exposed for their mistreatment, was reprimanded, and Chinya's life began anew. Her spirit, resilient and unwavering, had bridged the gap between suffering and salvation, proving that even in the darkest corners of despair, hope and justice could prevail.